Hello everybody, I'm really glad you could make it here today. If you're new around here, thanks for dropping by, and if you are a returning viewer, I want to thank you for coming back. It's good to see you again. So today, I'll be talking about the 1/72nd scale Modelcollect E-50. And this was originally supposed to be a time-lapse build, and all the current footage you'll be seeing so far is from that idea, but this is now going to be a build review, or rather, a review of what I was able to build, because this kit isn't complete. Because this kit was a little different from what I was hoping for, and not in the positive kind of way. So before I get into the real crux of the video, I thought that I'd start off with what I liked about it, since this kit does have a few things going for it, at least on a surface level. It's why I wanted to make some videos on this kit in the first place. So I'll start off with what I think is the most obvious, the subject matter. If memory serves me right, Modelcollect has this market pretty much cornered, which is by no means a bad thing. So if you want to build an E-50 or any other E-series vehicle in this scale, you'll probably be having to go through them. So because of this, you might think that Modelcollect really knows what they're doing, since the Wehrmacht 46 subject matter seems to be their specialty. The molding on this kit is generally pretty good. It wouldn't be what I consider extremely crisp, but that's a trade-off for this scale, and it's something that I've come to expect in all my kits in 72nd. This kit is also the master level version, which comes with a lot of new goodies like photo etched parts, a full interior, and even some crew figures. And I'm not sure what the base E-50 kit from Modelcollect is like, although if I'm just guessing, it seems like that one is only of the exterior, and maybe some photo etch in that one, but I don't know. Some of the sub-assemblies on this kit look pretty good when you put them together, such as the engine, and these sub-assemblies also open up the potential for other scratch building or diorama projects. So even if you don't want to build an E-50, or rather you don't want to build the interior in this kit might have some things going for you. So if I were to judge this kit based on the sprues alone, I would probably be giving it a 10 out of 10, especially with the additional parts. But the problem with this kit really comes up when you try to actually build it. So very few, if any, of the parts have peg and hole fittings. On parts like the engine or hull fighting compartment, this is no issue, since those are just rectangles and 90-degree angles. But on parts like the gun or the suspension, it is. So the suspension is pretty bad, just like as a whole. It's worse than the majority of this kit. The kit overall does have fit issues, but the suspension, once again, it's a lot worse. So although the suspension does have holes and pegs, they aren't keyed at all. So you do need to work really quickly and carefully to make sure that the tank sits evenly on its suspension. And while this does, I admit, open up the possibility to show the suspension in action, the tracks are link and length, and at the least, you'd have to bend the tracks to show the suspension in action in the first place. On the hull sides, you have to line up all the tools by eye. And there aren't any indicators of where you attach them aside from the instructions, which aren't very good. And while I realize that there are certain benefits from this decision on Modelcollect's part, it is a bit lacking in my opinion, and I just want to attach the parts. So the screw gates on this kit are very thick, and they're placed in inconvenient places, like in between the guide teeth on the drive sprocket, and on my kit, the bottom hull was too wide to allow the top hull to fit on. And although this is a very minor fix, it shouldn't be happening at all. This is a modern kit, and once again, this seems like an issue that shouldn't even arise in the first place. But probably my biggest issue with this construction is gonna be the turret. So although the turret fits into the turret ring with no issue at all, the bottom of the turret basket is a little taller than the hull itself because of the overly thick plastic, which causes it to rise above the turret roof. You can solve this issue by sanding the excess plastic, although I only realized that this was a problem after gluing the part in place because, the top and bottom hull don't fit together to allow me to do some proper dry fitting, and even if I did, I would probably ruin the interior while sanding it down. In terms of general fit, there isn't a way to properly secure the turret basket piece in place, so it, one, would either get knocked off, and two, it sort of wants to rise up, and this can really, it has the potential to damage the turret interior in the process, which is very fragile because of the previously mentioned lack of pegs and holes. And because of this, I decided to glue the top and bottom of the turret together, which totally makes the idea of showing off the interior not a thing, which is kind of sad because I was looking forward to building this kit for that purpose. I haven't really painted an interior in quite some time, and I wanted this kit to be the first, and it's not going to be happening anymore. The turret issues, they symbolize my overall impression of this kit, and it's a pretty good way to sum up the kit's quality as a whole. It seems like Modelcollect decided to design this interior without making sure that it was actually compatible, and even if they did, there wasn't quality control. I'm sure that with some very simple modifications, you can make this kit work. It only takes some cutting and filing, but this isn't really something that I wanted to do. I had started this build to get my mojo back, and it really underperformed in that aspect. Modelcollect really seemed to have forgotten the essentials with this kit, and sure, it has a full interior and photo etch, and a metal gun barrel, and figures, but at its core, I really didn't like it. This is by no means the worst kit I've built ever, but it's just so disappointing. So here are the parts of the E-50 after I wiped all the dust off, because this kit has been sitting out for quite a while, which is never a good sign. I just want to show you how some of the sub-assemblies look, and I say some because there isn't really much that I was able to build before throwing in the towel. It looks alright, it looks quite nice. You can see the air intake fans, and right off to the side I do have the engine, which is a part that I kind of liked building. It's not the best form of construction and it still is missing some parts, but that's all I have. Here's the turret. Maybe you can see the interior parts, but you're not really looking at much. And on the top you see the IR, which was a pain to get on, most notably with the photo etch and folding it into place. And if we're gonna continue talking about the goodies, the metal gun barrel is a bit too heavy for the turret itself. But this is what I was talking about with the hull. I didn't manage to finish filing everything down, so as you currently see it, the hull is sitting a little high, but even so, when I try to put the turret on, even if I manage to get it in place, there is still a bit of a rise, which, as you can tell, isn't ideal. So I also figured that I'd share the instructions with you because they are another complaint I have with this kit. So I'll just keep flipping through them, and you can just see the way that Modelcollect would have you build this kit with no peg and hole details, and you're just sort of guessing as to where you put on the parts correctly. Here's the size of the hull in which you attach all of the tools. There's nothing to guide you, you're just pretty much guessing. And in my case, if I got anything on straight, that would be nothing short of a miracle. You can see the engine compartment, very, very flawed, as well as the exact nature of this kit. It's crazy. But yep, here are the instructions. Not the best, but hey, at least there's a full color marking sheet. And this is gonna bring us to the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. I was hoping for this video to be less negative, but I wanted to be honest at the end of the day and show the kit for what it is. This was supposed to be the kit to get me back into armor modeling, and it has failed in that regard. And I know that I haven't put out an armor video in a while, although I'll be fixing that with the kit that did make me build something armor related. And it's going to be a painting and weathering video on the Tamiya Martyr one. which was so much more enjoyable to build than this kit. So if you're interested in that, consider subscribing. Once again, I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next video, whenever that is.